The Monitoring and Prediction Cluster is really about providing situational awareness for severe events. Some of this is the antecedent conditions, what's already happening. If we're concerned about a flood event or a fire event, then knowing the existing fuel moisture, the existing soil moisture is really important to calculating how rapidly the fire will spread or how much runoff there will be and how big a flood you'll get. So producing this information that's reliable and trustworthy and accurate is a central goal of some of our projects. So another goal of one of our projects is looking at predicting height of water levels actually during a flood. And this depends on a large range of inputs. It depends on getting the bathymetry of the river correct. And as we get those inputs more accurately, we can tune the models to get better outcomes, more accurate outcomes. One of the real challenges with emergency prediction is that often what distinguishes a major event from being a disaster can be quite small. We cross tipping points. A river levee might be overtopped. And as that tipping point is crossed, we go from something that people say, oh wow, that was big, to a genuine disaster that has an impact on lives and property. And so that puts a real demand on the accuracy of prediction, because if as little as say 10 or 20 centimetres of flood height or a few metres a second of wind speed makes the difference between a big event and a disaster, we need to try and predict that accurately. That's not always possible to get that degree of precision. So one of our projects is moving into looking at ensemble prediction and trying to predict not whether a threshold will be crossed or not, but what's the chance of the threshold being crossed. And obviously if we think the chance of crossing a serious threshold is a few percent, our response will be very different to if we think the chance of crossing the serious threshold is 40 or 50%. So as we move to these new forms of information, we also have to think about how best we communicate them. And that's not just how we communicate them within the professional community, but how we take that information to the public and make sure that their decisions are sound based on the information that we're giving them. The benefit's quite broad really. Almost anyone who is exposed to severe weather or severe fire or severe flood events can benefit from this research. Ultimately, it will flow through into better products that are produced by people like my organisation, the Bureau of Meteorology, and the information they provide to emergency services will help the emergency services to better prepare for coming events, be that on a seasonal timescale or over the next few days. As the emergency services are better prepared, they can get vulnerable people out of harm's way, ask holiday makers to holiday elsewhere. They can pre-deploy resources so that when the event happens, the response is quicker and more effective than it would otherwise have been.